What's the latest on the ex-tropical cyclone, the damage, and perhaps what can we expect in coming days? Because places flood a couple of days after the rain generally.
Yeah, I think we can expect to see, all the reports are that we're going to see more flooding, and this is not over, and I wouldn't want anyone to take too much comfort. I know there's some 350,000 Queenslanders who are without power. That brings its own complications when it comes to everything from food security to medical needs. So obviously we're not out of the woods yet. While it might not have been as severe as predicted, those preparations that Queenslanders and those in northern New South Wales have put in place are still important. If you've got your water stored, if you've got your battery packs, don't put them away, don't drain them down. You need to make sure that you've got those supplies for the next few days and keep listening. And I think one of the things I think has been really encouraging from people in northern New South Wales and Queensland is people have been listening to the emergency services advice, and that's how you make sure that you can protect lives, protect livelihoods, and hopefully get those communities back to work as soon as possible.
There are plenty of people on your side of politics who wanted an April election and not a budget. How are you going to sell for deficits after delivering two surpluses?
Well, some people want a particular election date. I want an election win. That's what I'm in for. When it comes to the budget, I think we've been really open with people as we've put out, two surpluses that we have achieved, something that wasn't in the forward projections of the previous Dutton coalition government, which he was a senior member. But what we'll say is that we are in very challenging international circumstances. The inflation challenge we have fought really strongly at home. We have to keep that fight up. But we'll be open with people when the budget numbers come out. I don't want to predict what those will be. That's for the Treasurer to release on the 25th of March. But we'll put forward a plan that makes sure that we do the right thing by the Australian economy without doing the wrong thing by Australian households. And that's my biggest concern about some of Dutton's plans, is this idea that you'll start to withdraw support from households just as they're starting to get ahead.
But your economic narrative's been, we put downward pressure on inflation with surpluses. Now you're going to have deficits. It's a bit of an issue for you, isn't it? It robs you of that narrative to some extent.
No, I'm really proud of the two Labor surpluses that we've delivered. When it comes to what the numbers will show, both because when we put out the budget, we don't just put out what is government spending and government revenue. We also put out what are our forward projections on GDP, what are our forward projections on inflation. We'll put all of that in the budget on the 25th. We've been doing that work for months. I've said in...
Are you saying they'll be good figures? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying it will be a complete story about where the Australian economy has been, where we need to take it, and also some of the investments that we're making to make sure that we support households through what have been challenging times. And I don't want to pretend that it's been an easy ride for Australian households, but make sure that we leave those supports in while putting in new supports for those things that are really important. And some of the best economic policy you can have is health policy. Medicare is front and centre for us, making sure that more Australians can get a bulk billed GP. You'll see those sort of things. And I think people will understand the complex circumstances in which we govern, but the clear vision we have to help households in difficult times.
With this extra time, will you have another crack at the nature positive laws, or as a WAMP, are you just hoping that all goes away?
We've been clear that we don't see a path for that legislation in this term of Parliament. What we want to do is to continue the work that we have been doing of improving approvals times. When we came to office, I think it was around 84 days was sort of the times for an approval. We've halved that down to about 44 days. I'm really proud of that because I know that one of the things that gives business certainty is knowing that they'll get a clear answer in a reasonable time frame. I also believe there is more we can do to make sure that we have better outcomes for nature. These conversations shouldn't always be that it's nature versus approvals times. We can actually have better outcomes in both.